Hello class, this is Melinda Mullenix, and with this PowerPoint presentation, I'm going to explain how Frank Lloyd Wright's prairie style and usonian style architecture changed the occupants' relationship with their surroundings and provide examples. I'm going to provide 3 examples of both the prairie style and the usonian style, and by the end of this PowerPoint presentation, you will understand what made Frank Lloyd Wright's organic architecture such a pivotal point in architectural history. Prairie style architecture. In 1893, Frank Lloyd Wright founded his architectural practice in Oak Park, a quiet semi-rural Chicago suburb. It was in his Oak Park studio during the first decade of the 20th century that Wright pioneered a bold new approach to domestic architecture, the prairie style. Inspired by the expansive landscape of America's Midwest, the prairie style was the first truly American architectural style in what has been called the American century. For Wright, the houses he witnessed around him, derived as they were from the styles of other countries and other cultures, could not possibly reflect American values. A masterful architectural designer, Wright developed a unique vocabulary of space, form, and pattern. It represented a dramatic shift in design from traditional houses of the day. Wright's prairie buildings, defined by gently sloping roofs, low proportions, quiet skylines, suppressed heavy-set chimneys, sheltering overhangs, low terraces, and outreaching walls sequestering private gardens, herald a new era in architecture. Imagine the Midwest prairie, flat, expansive, spreading out in all directions. Imagine a house doing the same thing. That was the goal of Frank Lloyd Wright's prairie style. When he built his buildings, he had 9 essential principles, and these 9 essential principles would carry not only from his prairie style homes, but also into his usonian homes. These 9 essential principles are: number 1, the number of the parts of the house are minimized to achieve unity. 2, the house should be integrated within its site by using horizontal planes. 3, the room as a box is eliminated by using screens and panels instead of walls. 4, the basement is removed by raising the house off the ground, placing the living spaces up 1 floor with the better view of its surrounding landscapes. 5, windows no longer are cut out of walls, but instead light screens that creates banks of natural light everywhere within the building. 6, the number of materials used are minimized. 7, all utilities are incorporated into the fabric of the building. 8, all furnishings will be one with the building. 9, fashionable decorating eliminated. Prairie style homes. Here's the first example. The Frederick C. Roby House in Chicago, Illinois was designed between the years of 1906 to 1909. The Roby House was one of the best houses built in the prairie style out of all the thousands of houses Wright built through the 47 years of an architectural career he had. Wright's visionary buildings required a particular type of client, described in his own words as American man of business with unspoiled instincts and ideals. He found this kind of client in the young businessman Frederick Roby, who worked for his father. He was described as brash and full of ideals, the perfect guy for Wright's style of architecture. When Roby started his new family, he was in search of a home. He described many times to associates and other people the type of home he wanted. He wanted a house that had a lot of light, and not that artificial light, but natural light from the sun. He also wanted to be able to look out his windows to his neighbors without being seen or observed by them, and without the loss of privacy. He wanted rooms that weren't confining. His friends would tell him the architect he needed was Frank Lloyd Wright. He didn't know Frank, and he didn't know how he built his houses. All he knew was this was the guy who may give him the home of his dreams. This certainly was the greatest decision he ever made. Wright's organic architecture was exactly the kind of architecture he was describing without a label. The Roby House has several special features that carry on throughout all of the buildings that Wright has built. Here are some projecting cantilevered roof eaves, continuous bands of arc glass windows. The use of Roman brick emphasized the horizontal. Exterior walls are double withe. The horizontal joints were filled with a cream-colored mortar. The small vertical joints were filled with brick-colored mortar. The arc glass windows have abstract patterns of colored and clear glass. Similar designs and tapestries inside the house and for gates surrounding the outdoor spaces and enclosing the garage courtyard. Largely steel structure allowed for the minimal deflection of the eaves. The planter urns, copings, lintels, sills, and other exterior trim work are of Bedford limestone. This is the Walter V. Davison House in Buffalo, New York. Wright built this in 1908. This is the sunroom in the Davison house. All the walls are windows to let in natural light. The walls are yellow, maybe to intensify the effect. And when I refer to that, I mean not only did Wright structure this building with an environment, he also used psychological elements like color theory. Using yellow usually brightens up your day, you know. His overall approach to his architecture was not only simplistic but wholesome in nature. The floor is made of wooden panels, as you can see. They're not painted. They're ordinary colors. The furniture you see all around her, he designed with his own hands. When he talked about minimal components to a house, he was talking about the loss of walls for confinement. Most of his furniture and utility elements were all structured within the building itself, and also everything he built here was made with natural components from nature, which is wood and stucco. Here's another house, Darwin D. Martin House Complex in Buffalo, New York. It was built between the years of 1903 and 1905. As you can see from all of his prairie-style homes, they all resemble each other in some manner. They all have the low-hanging roofs, the extended eaves, the shelter from strong sunlight, and just enough angle to it to allow the sun to shine in during the cold winter months. The bricks that he used, the giant concrete slabs on top and on bottom, these were typical characteristics of a prairie style home. And here's the inside of the Martin home. This is the living room. As this home was designed, as you can tell from this book stand right here, it is part of the wall. These chairs with the round seat, the panels, the wooden panels up here, the openings in the ceiling of the home to allow in light, pretty much the general idea of solar panels, except solar panels fuels energy and it powers your house, but this is to let in the natural light. Tables and counters built into the house. This was typical of Wright's organic architecture. And his goal was to make it one with nature, so everything he used was things he found around these buildings: rocks, boulders, sand, dirt, whatever he could find to construct whatever he was trying to construct. This was Wright's these were his goals and his common features of all his homes. Here's another prairie style home. It's the last one I will show. It's called the William R. Heath House in Buffalo, New York. It was built during 1904 to 1905. As you also can see, very much similar to the rest of the homes. Lots of windows, oversized eaves, slabs of concrete, bricks laying in a horizontal fashion, all comprised of natural components in the site. And here's one of the rooms. I talked about his panels, his glass. Here's some glass that he's well known for designing geometric shapes within his glass panes to provide an elegance instead of the ordinary Victorian ornamental design. He incorporated his design into a naturalness. Like this glass here is made of glass, but he used lead to separate it into sections to create what we know as stained glass. These windows up here to let the sun shine in at all hours of the day. This curtain here was all that was used to separate this room from that room, and as you can see over here, here's another opening. And all this furniture and these tables and these lamps and these lights hanging from the ceiling, they were all made by Wright. You know, all part of the house, all being necessary, functional elements within this home. Okay, on to Usonian style architecture. The Great Depression in the 1930s devastated millions of people around the world. When the stock market crashed in October of 1929, so did the hopes of millions of Americans throughout the United States. Living from day to day became a struggle for most Americans as they attempted to find ways to survive. The word Usonia is an abbreviation for United States of North America. Frank Lloyd Wright aspired to create a democratic, distinctly American style that was affordable for the common people. Usonian architecture grew out of Frank Lloyd Wright's earlier prairie-style homes. Both styles featured low roofs and open living areas. Both styles made abundant use of brick, wood, and other natural material. However, Wright's Usonian homes were small, one-story structures set on concrete slabs with piping for radiant heat beneath the floor. The kitchens were incorporated into the living areas. Open carports took the place of garages, and they were customized to fit the person who will live in it. They have the same general style, but because Wright encouraged his clients to be active in the construction of their homes, they were basically different in structure and features. Okay, Usonian style architecture's exterior features usually were of dominant horizontal lines, flat roofs with large overhangs, standardized natural materials, unit system walls, integrated windows, organic sitting, a private side and open side usually facing south, carports, modules, zoned plans, 3 primary living areas, living spaces, kitchen dining areas at the intersection, and small bedrooms, open living areas, adjacent cooking dining areas, surface cores, concrete slab floors, integral gravity heating, in-floor radiant heat. Interior: simplicity above all, integral decoration, modular furniture, built-in components, freestanding pieces, inexpensive materials, inside-outside walls, perforated wood screens, central hearths, warm colors, indirect lighting, simple textiles, and accessories, which were limited decorative objects. Okay, the first example will be Johnny Christian House in West Lafayette, Indiana, and it was built in 1954 to 56, and this was one of Wright's last homes that were considered Usonian style homes. This is the inside of the house. Wright designed using the same ideals as he had with his prairie-style houses. The use of bricks and wood is nothing different from his previous style. He designed furniture and functional elements to be united with the structure entirely. This house was one of his very last residences built before his passing. This